This is going to be a very fun video, but before I forget, there's more spice today on the Rumble. Yesterday's video did really well, actually, and it's fiscally worthwhile to do so. So, if you like what I do here, and you want to know what I'm like when I take the gloves off, so to speak, check in regularly over there. So I'll update you guys when I post there. Fun stuff. But anyway, yes, I've unlocked a great achievement this week, folks. I have finally earned the blocking of a Guardian writer.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, indeed. Now, I imagine some of you might go, what, only now? Slow pace, you're losing your touch, old man. Silence, you smartass. I don't interact with these plebs much. They'll drop the block button faster than a feminist will scream harassment if you happen so much as look vaguely in their direction. Actually, we'll get to that later in the video. Besides, it's the first time I've bothered interacting with a Guardian one, and they blocked me only after 2 interactions. Hell, the one I wrecked in a Spider-Man video lasted longer than that one. So if anything, I'm 2 for 2 within a 24-hour window. Again, so much for that strong independent woman crap. The second they meet an independent opinion that easily rivals and obliterates theirs, they can't handle it. It's almost like they're, I don't know, too emotional or something. Oh well. You know, I've noticed the whammon variety are so brittle on the Twitter. It's no wonder damn near all of my blocks are female. Except this one, but this one lives in California, so let's not expect much. Now, what exactly kicked all this stupid off? Very simple, a WAPO article that The Guardian last quoted. My radical feminist opinion is that if men who are exclusively attracted to women are so incapable of viewing women as social equals, deserving of rights and dignity, then they deserve the loneliness that will follow. You employ a radical feminist, Guardians. No wonder your publication has never turned any profit. Then again, you also employ commie Robert Reich, not exactly known for quality, that one. He'll drop the fascismist claim faster than the fembrains will drop a block button. And I'm trying to refrain very much so from making short jokes, so I'll take the moral high ground and not stoop to their level. I'll elevate my game, so to speak. My word, men who are exclusively attracted to women, that's a rather bizarre way of saying heterosexual. Just say straight, you fucking pretentious wanker. What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, it's on Twitter, for heaven's sake. Who exactly are you trying to impress over here? Here was my reply, and as you can tell, because it's Twitter and we can be kind of spicy over there, I didn't exactly hold back. And if you think I was rude, no, I'm just being objective. Go look her up and you will see why she's a radical feminist. Comes with less femininity than frickin' Ellen DeGeneres, for heaven's sakes. And by the way, the property thing. I know even that phrase is grossly offensive to basically any emotionally driven being who thinks words are an assault on the senses and their brain ceases to function, if it ever even did. But that phrase comes with a custom that is very much generational in a lot of ways. Older generations of ladies, they grew up with that. That's normal to them. But there's still girls in their 20s and 30s that will find the concept of being owned by a man as attractive and even romantic. Probably because the male seeks to perform his role with a sense of duty and honor, which might make the woman happy. Whereas the feminists just want more misery because, as the saying goes, misery loves company. And speaking of that, let's look at the article that was referenced. It's called, If Attitudes Don't Shift, a Political Dating Mismatch Will Threaten Marriage. Now, bear in mind, this is the Washington Post, so we're only going to look at 2 or 3 pieces there because they suck and they don't explain anything, and naturally being far superior and more entertaining, I will explain the trend. Since Mr. Trump's election in 2016, the percentage of single women aged 18 to 30 who identify as liberal has shot up slightly over 20% to 32%. Man, that's a hell of a shift. Young men have not followed suit. If anything, they've grown more conservative. Gen Z is still relatively young, and the Trump-era divisions between single men and women might yet reverse themselves, but there's a good chance they won't, particularly if Mr. Trump manages to inject the body politic with his distinct brand of existential dread during and after the 2024 elections. Yeah, because Trump's behavior is the problem here. It's not because of the dumb shit you lot say. Like, there's more journalists talking about Trump than Trump talking. You do realize that, right? Probably not. We're not exactly dealing with high IQ individuals over here. I actually saw this trend a few weeks back. I think I even retweeted about it on Twitter. Basically, Gen Z women are becoming more radically insane, and men, by virtue of being smarter and not insane, are reversing course. Why? It's actually very simple to explain. You see, it's all about sex and power. The last century of Western civilization has seen an enormous injection of feminization, which has been an unmitigated disaster in every conceivable way. Everywhere you find the presence of the XXs, you will find utter chaos and dysfunction. Feminism, despite its name, actually hates femininity because it's based on the doctrine of equality. Nothing in nature is equal, and to make something equal, you need force. So if you're basing an ideology on equality, you're really basing it on force, and because they have no capacity to ever accept responsibility or admit fault for anything, when they get beaten by reality over and over again, they will only double down and use more force. See, feminism has taught women that they need to be equal to men, and by virtue of that being a goal, it is an admission that they are not. And why and how they are not, that's not really something they're interested in discussing. Couple that with teaching women that femininity in itself is nothing more than eye candy for the men, you're brainwashing women into hating the female form, and in order to compete with men, they must become men. Funny story that straight men are not sexually attracted to men. Shocking, I know. It's 2023 after all. But feminism, again, equality, must behave like men, incorrectly think that men and women are the same, and so they incorrectly conclude that women can behave like men without recourse, which is obviously not true. Feminism is basically nothing more than unaccountable perversion of the realities of a civilized society. Whereas men, being sane and rational, will look at what that movement has morphed into and think, okay, so there's no grounding of sex in biological reality, it's just social, apparently, and there's more than two of them, but you think you can be anything, even though when you want to look like anything else, you choose the form of the opposite sex, and you take hormones produced by the opposite sex and co-opt the genitals, even though you say that is not what defines sex. So you're doing... This makes absolutely no sense at all. And the other side of the aisle has iron weights and weaponry and meat and fire, testosterone, great art and literature, Roman legionnaires and Duke Nukem. Guess which side they're going to be more attracted to? Again, Mussolini, there is no revolution that can change the nature of man. And speaking of nature, I'll let you all in on a secret that no feminist will admit to, but I'll say it because I don't care and I know it to be true. Conservatism and masculinity is rooted in reality. Feminism is based on disconnection and politics. If you're a conservative male, conservative women will respect you and liberal women will lust after you. But if you're a liberal man, neither will respect you and liberal women will take advantage of you. And I know the comment section is going to be thinking, man, that's some good truth right there. If you're in the market for getting a woman to respect you, liberalism is the choice of the loser. Simple as that. Men need to understand this. Women are attracted to strength and fortitude. Politics be damned. And they will probe and test you for weakness. Curtis Yarvin had this really great line where he said, someone once said the public is a woman, and you don't necessarily get the woman by doing what they tell you to do. And so any dance with the public is a sort of seduction. Which is true. The same way a gold digger doesn't need to be told where the gold is, she will find it. You can say some pretty outlandish things by today's standards, and as long as you stand firm, make no apologies for it, and essentially say, yeah, this is what I stand for, take it or leave it, I'm not here to appease you, women will be attracted to that. No amount of politics can undo their urge. That is the reality of the sexes. Women don't want equality, they want to be led. And don't let anyone lead you to believe otherwise, they're full of it. Like the Guardian writer. By the way, here's a fun fact for you. You know this woman was sued for defamation several years ago for making an anonymous list called Shitty Media Men during the height of the Me Too era. So you can guess the accusations. And a gentleman took issue being on that list, seeing as it damn near ruined his career. Six-figure settlement was reached earlier this year after 4.5 years. So that's the kind of person you're dealing with here. I mean, look at this coping desperation after her tweet. Damn, this really struck a nerve with anti-feminist men. Too bad they're all going to die alone with their 7 video game consoles. Tell me you were traumatized by Gamergate without telling me you were traumatized by Gamergate. You can just tell this one hasn't learned a damn thing in almost a decade, can't you? I've got a crystal ball over here, and I know if you took that tweet, 180'd the anti-feminist men bit, and replaced the video game consoles with the cats, that describes her future to a frickin' T. Now look at this. But if women don't agree to devote themselves to men, even when those men offer no qualities that make such devotion appealing, useful, or dignified, then marriage, the nuclear family as we know it, will collapse. And then the good meme. If you've been around lately, then you know our favorite phrase around here is pattern recognition. And I've been around long enough to spot this pattern. This attitude towards marriage from their ilk always boils down to one of 3 types. Either stuck in a bad one, a bitter divorcee, or can't find a man who would bother giving them the time of day. Given her thin skin, her views, attitude, past conduct, and the resulting repercussions, and the fact that she uses a frickin' Rugrats avatar for Twitter, I think you can probably guess which camp she falls into. And don't forget to check out the Rumble video if you want to see the spicy kick today. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.